What is up? Hello, everybody, and good morning or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm currently in the Philippines, and I know it's been a while. I didn't get to do a lot of the episodes because um, I was very, very fortunate to have some sort of work during the lockdown, and I was doing a lot of the episodes of Pick Your Brain, and that was just to keep me going by and learning from some of my favorite colleagues and friends in the UK. And then I booked a job. I'm extremely fortunate, and I not only did I get to book a job in the UK out of this lockdown, but I got to book it with five other amazing actors, and I'm so lucky to have them on this special episode of Pick Your Brain. It was a whirlwind of a process, and we get to talk about that today. And you get to ask us some of your questions, or if you're watching this later, you get to rewatch it, and you can send us a private chat or slide into any of our DMs. I think any of the boys will be welcoming that, particularly a few of them. Kane, yeah. And I'm just so happy to have these guys on board, and I was just constantly learning from them, and not just about skill or craft, because these guys are at the top of the games in terms of musical theater and performance, but also just being ready to just get their hands dirty, to do whatever it takes to bring some sort of theater, live entertainment back. And I think I got a glimpse of the kind of people that they are and the kind of human beings that they are. Absolutely generous performers on stage, but really genuine people off stage as well. And I'm so lucky to have all five of them with me on a special episode of Pick Your Brain. So please welcome the cast of Fanny and Stella. I'm going to start this off with Kurt Kansley. Hello, Kurt.
Hello, everybody.
Jed Berry.
Hey!
Alex Lodge, driving. Kane Verrill.
Hello, darling.
And Mark Pierce.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Mark repping the merchandise.
Whose dog is that going crazy right now?
Oh, that's a dog down the Robertson old street in Hastings. So that's just hopefully he'll go away
Who let
soon.
the dogs out?
Oh my God. Okay,
Is it quite loud?
It's very
Sorry.
not as loud as you,
Sorry.
darling. Not as loud as you.
Oh, good. I am a belter.
All right. Okay, so let me just explain to everybody. This is the cast of Fanny and Stella, and we were put together really quickly, actually. Jed and Kane actually playing the title roles, Fanny and Stella, and they were cast way before any of us were cast. And the process was very quick. We rehearsed for 1 week straight, and then we opened already on Monday. I'm receiving some sort of feedback. Hang on. Let me just make sure. What is that? Do you know what that is?
People chatting in a cafe, isn't it?
Oh, that's
no.
That's Kane.
In which
It's all right.
case, I'll move if that's the case.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I am outside though. There's no one else. There are people walking past though.
That's fine. That's fine.
Always pulling focus, aren't you?
Why don't I mute myself unless I'm being spoken to?
Oh, that might be it. That might be helpful.
It's quiet.
But then,
now.
oh, that's extremely quiet. I think just the energy of Kane is just generally loud. Okay.
I wish you had seen mine in real life.
All right. So anyway, we were rehearsing for 1 week straight, a brand new show, fully staged. We had to be cognizant of all these social distancing measures, and we really didn't know what we were expecting, did we? We had no idea. So I just want to, I guess maybe just a quick round. Let's start with Kurt on what was the process like, the audition and the rehearsal process like for you?
It was really fast. I've not experienced anything like that in my life, really, because it was like I got a phone call from my agent, we share the same agent actually, JP and I.
Yeah.
We are both with Sonia Buchanan, who's wonderful. And she called me and said, "You have an audition, and it's likely to be offered to you, and the rehearsal will start the day after the audition." So it was like audition Wednesday, musical I think Thursday, and then and then 1 week rehearsal to learn a full show, choreography, everything
It's
in 1 week. Never
how
been done.
about me neither. Like, it's insane. Jed, how was it like? You and Kane were selected long before any of us.
Well, not long. Maybe like a week before, but you know, I don't really know about Kane. Kane will tell you himself. I've known Dex for a few years, though we've never worked together. And I'd seen Fanny and Stella before a few years ago. Unfortunately, not the production and marketing, the one before that. So I missed the wonderful Mark in it. But I'd seen the show, I kind of knew what it was about, and I loved it. And so Dex, our lovely director, sort of got in touch to sort of ask what I was doing. And like every actor in the UK at that point, nothing whatsoever. And he asked if I'd be interested. And so there was a bit of time where we were just sort of waiting to see if it would go ahead. We were sort of seeing if it was possible. We had to go look at the venue. And so it was a little up in the air for a few days. And then all of a sudden, it was all stations go. And yeah, so we maybe had a week on you guys. But that week was spent learning lines. Every day, me and Kane would try to learn 14 pages of the script. So then by the time we got to rehearsals, we knew what we were saying. And also then it gave me and Kane some time to bond and to bounce off each other and just sort of get to grips with it, which I think we were both grateful for because...
Did you guys know each other? Did you and Kane know each other before?
No, we'd never met. The only person that I knew was Logie.
Everybody knows Logie.
Logie knows everybody. So it was a nice week for me and Kane. Well, stressful week, but a nice week for me and Kane to try and get to grips with it all and learn the lines. And it definitely helped us because then with 1 week of rehearsals to try and get to grips with everything else, at least we had a little bit of a head start for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Mark Pierce has a long relationship with Fanny and Stella. He's done all of the iterations of it. So
yes.
So
I cheated. Yes.
So was this particular rehearsal process easier than the rest of us for you?
No, because we couldn't touch it, we couldn't hug, we couldn't pass props to each other. So no, it was really weird. Yeah. Usually it was a lot more bonding first, and this was tricky to be so far apart from each other, and we were rehearsing the garden quite a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, and you play loads of characters in the show, and you amongst all of us got that Break a Leg nomination from the Break a Leggers. So we did get a nomination. It did. But was this particular staging of Fanny and Stella any different or similar? How different or similar was it from the times that you've done it before?
Yeah, it's very different. It's very much shorter. Yeah, so the last one was over 2 hours. So we had to kind of condense it down so people wouldn't get cold outside, I guess. So we kind of condensed it, and it's a lot funnier than before, I think. And a lot more dancing. So Nick Winston's done a great job on it. So it's good. It's fun. I enjoyed doing it this time.
Exactly. Yeah. And Kane Verrill, I don't know where Alex Logie went. He disappeared on us. But
he's had enough, babes.
He walked out on us. How about you, Kane? What was your process? You and Jed were announced long before any of us. So did you get any head start in terms of rehearsing and preparation?
Yeah, so I mean, as Jed said, we were kind of running lines and learning our scripts and things over Zoom, which was fabulous. And I think Jed and I bonded over that in a very different way to how you usually do in a rehearsal room. But that was the first time we'd ever met, and we just got on like a house on fire, as we all did when we all eventually met as well. So I found that really useful. I think trying to cram all of those things in without that help of someone else reading the lines, we made a few little character discoveries just over Zoom. So I feel like that made a lot of difference for us, which was fab. Thank goodness I had that extra week, because I would not have been able to have been cast, go in the next day and be like, great, here we are. I'd still have been finding my feet 2 weeks later, by which time we would have opened, had press night, and we're off.
Right.
So it was all very quick, but sometimes that helps in terms of you have to get it up and running, and so it goes in a little, not easier, but because it has to be done, it gets done. which is fab. And I just think it was a very special experience for that. And we all worked together so well that it was a nice, easy, it wasn't easy in terms of the time frame and the amount of work, but the ease of which that work happened. We were so lucky to be working with such a wonderful group of people, and Nick and Stephen as well. So it was a miracle, but a very happy one.
All right, we're going to talk more about Fanny and Stella and the process and just the entire experience, but I need you guys to update me right now on currently where you guys are right now in the UK, and what do you guys have planned for the next couple of months? Are you also fun employed like me, or what's happening? Kurt?
Me first. I'm in London at the moment, in my little office, and I've been because I also work as I've been for the last decade. I've been working as a composer and a writer, and yeah, been working on my own material really. So we've during the lockdown we had 2 readings of 2 of the musicals that I've co-written. And I've got a bit more that work on. We're currently trying to set up COVID hoping. We're working with a director and a projection designer to do a workshop of one of our musicals in either October or November. Just kind of doing that sort of stuff, really. I have been cast in something, but we just don't know when it's going to start. It's supposed to be going on tour.
Bravo! Excellent.
I'm not sure what dates. So it'll either be, apparently it's going to be in October, but it may be
push back again. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just waiting to see. But yeah. At the moment, I'm in my lovely little office in London. It's quite a stagey office. All my showbiz, posters are all over the place.
Cool.
Yeah, and those are the Kansan leader shows there. Yeah.
All right. Staying super creative. Jed, what are you up to now?
Well, I'm back up in Yorkshire for a couple of weeks and just doing some family duties and seeing my friends up here and my family up here. Back in London next week, just in time for a local lockdown, I think, which will be really good.
You're lovely.
Yeah, great, perfect. So I'm just back up here currently, but having a lovely time. Yeah, fun employed. Having a great time.
Employed.
As is the rest of the industry, so it's not too bad. Kane knows this. I might actually be relocating to a different country for a little while to do a bit of teaching.
Ooh, wow!
But
are we allowed? Can you tell us a little about that? About what country, or not yet?
I mean, it's not all confirmed yet. But I might be going to Asia to do a bit of teaching.
Wow!
Why not? But we'll see.
My side of the world.
Yeah.
Look who's watching.
Dex is watching.
Hey,
Hi,
Dex.
We just got 3 love hearts from Dexter.
Our director, Stephen Dexter, who is oh my God, so much good news and so many great things are being said about Pippin right now.
Yeah.
Following Fanny and Stella at the Eagle. Yeah, so congratulations.
Well, 3 of us got to go and see it actually already. So
yeah, it was great.
And Mark and myself were there last week? Was it last week or the week?
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
Last week. And it was fantastic. The show is
oh my God.
It's
so exciting.
It was really brilliant.
So exciting.
I've seen 4 productions of Pippin, and I always struggle to kind of know what it's about. But I have to say, out of all of the versions I've seen, this one made the most sense. Yeah, and
I read a gorgeous review saying that it takes you into this fever dream, kind of like you're on a high, and then you just don't want to leave it because it's just that good. It's nice. Oh, let me talk to Alex.
And how lovely to see. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say how lovely to see that space, like the space that we had, used in a different way, and the lovely Eagle pub and all of that. It was just so nice to be back and sit in the audience and watch something, isn't it? Just
really lovely. The reception that we all got from staff when we arrived. They were all so lovely. Everybody at the Eagle was just so glorious and so kind and so generous. It was just really nice to see all those faces.
How about Mark? What are you up to right now, and what's keeping you busy?
Yeah, well, I'm in London, in my house. So yeah,
It's a lovely house.
Been doing voiceovers really for adverts. That keeps me ticking over, which is nice. And auditioning, hence the dodgy moustache. So we just see what happens really. But yeah, just chilling at home on my allotment, traveling around, seeing friends. So it's quite nice to have some time to not just act every night. It's sort of it's like a new freedom.
That's true.
I've spent
That's true.
20 years working nights, you know.
It's like a forced holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I have to say.
It's
Get to see my wife.
Forced to slow down. Oh, say hi to Kat for us.
Oh well.
Kane, what's keeping you busy? Because I hear that you're booking shows nonstop after Fanny and Stella.
Well, in the audience, yes. I've already booked for 6 next year. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Well, I have escaped the big smoke. So I've come to the south coast for a little bit, you know, a little bit of seaside air by the sea, Mr. Todd and all that.
Oh.
And, you know, just having my little cup and pot of tea, spending time with family. It's so important. I'm going to play some crazy golf later.
Jealous.
You know, I feel like there is so much to enjoy in life at the moment that I don't necessarily want to focus on all of the other stuff that's going on, because we see that on the 6 o'clock news. Until
Every
6
day.
o'clock, it's my day, you know, and we're going to do nice things and enjoy and go to the sweet shops and all those lovely little bits and bobs. So that's kind of me at the moment, and let's see what happens with the rest of the year and into the new year.
Excellent. You know? Finally, Alex Lodge, I hope you don't go out of the stream again.
So I thought I was
Are you all
trying
right?
to be really clever. I was trying to be really clever, and I thought I'll stop at a service station so I might get a bit more signal. Stop there, have no signal, then try and drive around the car park for 10 minutes trying to find service in a car park. Now I've just hit the motorway again. So it's going ever so well.
Oh. All right. For as long as your signal can support you, why don't you tell us about your process auditioning Fanny and Stella, and just the entire rehearsal process? What was it like for you?
I mean, it was a bit bizarre for me. I was sat in Green Park having a picnic with my girlfriend, and I just randomly got a message from Stephen Dexter saying, well, are you free at the moment? Well, everyone is, so yeah. And I might have a part for you. His script, have a read, let me know what you think. Okay. And then I read it, and I was like, yeah, that seems like a laugh, let's do it.
And we lost him.
What about
the end of
you?
his process.
Tell us about what you've been up to. Like, how long have you been in Manila? And congratulations.
Yeah, you're in Manila.
That's just brilliant news. So thrilled for you. So tell us what's been going on with you.
It's very exciting. Well, I needed to come home to sort some documents out with my wife. It was a reason for us to go to a little holiday back home here in Manila. But we've already booked our ticket back to the UK. And as you might know, like every single day, things are changing and we don't really know what's happening. And so we just want to get in to the UK when things are kind of stable. I wouldn't want to say normal yet, but at least when things are stable. It's a very different policy for every country, and we needed to take multiple PCR swab tests to get a negative result just to get into Manila, and then we need to take one again going out of Manila. But then when I get to the UK, I was scheduled to watch Pippin, but I need to quarantine for 14 days. If not, I might get fined £3,000, and I can't afford £3,000 because I'm unemployed right now. But yeah, it would be a good reason to continue this podcast and the stream and bake more sourdough bread, so I can send sourdough bread pictures to Kane.
And those sticky round things you make, they're good.
Yeah.
My cinnamon bun.
The sticky cinnamon buns.
Yeah, with all of my sweet stuff. But yeah, like my agent has been really lovely, and then just constantly keeping in touch with all of us and updating us. And it's nice because when you get the 6 o'clock news telling you some horrid revelation of whatever is happening or not happening, it's nice to get some sort of comfort and some sort of like, you know, hand holding from an agent saying that we're all in this together.
Yeah,
and
awesome like that. I don't know many other agencies that are doing that, but there's a monthly thing she has on a Friday where all of the clients are invited to kind of come and speak, and she just kind of, she injects a little bit of positivity and hope.
Right.
Yeah.
I think in terms of positivity and hope, Fanny and Stella provided that for so many people who came out to watch us. Because we were lucky. We were quite lucky because our entire run with extensions happened right before the brand new rule of 6 that the government announced. So it was nice to have that sense of, at least, albeit a little bit temporary, it was a lot of joy and a lot of hope. What were the memorable bits for you during our extended run of Fanny and Stella?
The most memorable bits for me, it's as for most of us. I know both Mark and Kurt had done some open air stuff before, but for me, and I think for the majority of us, it was our first time doing open air, which is a whole new challenge, a really fun challenge, but a whole new challenge. And so, one thing that always really sticks in my mind is there's quite a graphic scene that myself, Kane, and you, JP, were partaking in. And a siren went past, and Kane, I think this is maybe like the first performance, Kane just did the most fantastic ad-lib. I mean, throughout the whole run, Kane did the most fantastic ad-libs. But it was just a real thing for me of like, oh, so like that's what this show's about. Like this is about like creating like a fun escape for people where they can just have a laugh, where we can just like be something completely separate from everything that's horrible that's happening in the world right now. We're just like this safe little place in Vauxhall where you can come, you can enjoy it, you can watch some camp, fun, hilarity. And when Kane started like riffing on the text and having jokes about what was going on around us, that for me was like, okay, now I get it. And that for me was like epitomized the whole charm of the whole thing for me.
Right.
That's what I loved about this piece and where we were, is that we could play around with it, and that's exactly what we needed in that space, because with all the stuff going past at the garden and all of that, we needed to be able to play around with it, and it added to the show so much. And they are some of my best memories of, like, I think everyone had a couple throughout the run where, you know, even if it was just waiting for that plane to go over, or if it was waiting for you know, the motorbike to go past, it was something that we could play with, and that is so important. And with our piece, it just elevated it to another level that the audience loved.
Yeah.
I'm sure if Lodgy gets back online, he'll tell you that he had such bad luck in that whenever because Lodgy had probably the most serious character out of all of us. Right. And he had such bad luck, and whenever he had a really sincere moment, a siren would go past, or like someone on the street would be shouting, or something would always happen just as Lodgy was trying to like really bring the tone into like a really serious place. There would always be something just to like completely interrupt him.
Yeah. I do remember that, and every time Lodgy and Mark would have that scene in Edinburgh, Lodgy would always corpse when Mark brings in something new.
Yeah. It was a good corpse, though. Yes. My fault.
It's because you're hilarious, Mark.
Well, yeah. Well, it was Mr. Dixon, you see. Thank you. Next week,
this is a character from the show, and oh my god, there was a cat
today.
There was a cat.
Doubtfire vibes the whole time.
Yeah,
if anyone's casting Mrs. Doubtfire, they need to see Mark Pierce. It needs to happen.
Yes,
needs to happen.
Yes.
I think.
What were your? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, JP. One of the things for me that was really apparent, and it was more like I noticed it when we moved to the theatre. Was, you know, this is a bunch of 6 really well-rounded actors who have got, you know, on their like collectively on our notches some really wonderful shows and big West End pieces and tours, etc. But the fact was that we everybody kind of were in it as a team, and we weren't being paid ridiculous amounts of money. You know, the conditions weren't fabulous. The dressing room was a little basement, was in the basement, the cellar of the pub. You know, but everybody kind of put in the work to make it happen.
Yeah.
So like we all helped to bump out. We all helped lifting props and helping each other as much as we could, social distancing with costumes, and you know, everybody was there to help each other out. Jed was really helpful with Kane and makeup. I just thought that process on a general level, on the whole, from everybody being very generous and very kind and very giving, to make theatre happen, kind of put my faith in what we do, because sometimes we get so spoiled doing a show that has massive budgets and big teams of people looking after that said show. We didn't have the stage manager or company manager or wigs people or dressers. You know, we did all of that work ourselves. So for me, that was a really special thing.
Yeah. Mine was when it rained that night and we had to do a concert version, and we could have just cancelled the show and gone home, really. But I like the way we all pulled together and we just did our own little version, you know, a safe version in the rain, and it was great. It was real team effort, and I think it went down well.
It really felt like whatever joy people experienced when they watched us was really an outpouring of what we had backstage. I mean, there was just a lot of. It felt like we were soldiers, all sharing a bunker and like sharing a foxhole and willing to just, take care of each other. And that was really nice to feel, and to be part of a company that had absolutely no ego and just all about the work. And it like what Kurt said, it reminded you of why you fell in love with this piece in the first place and this job in the first place. Alex, we're talking about our memorable bits and the things that stick out the most during our very long and extended run.
Yeah. I think we all have, especially actors, we all have egos, but I think we all kind of managed to cross them or keep control of them, or there was a different result.
Yeah.
We were all there was a united result that we were all after. To get a piece up on the stage, and to be one of 6 actors working was just. I remember saying this to Mark during rehearsals. To be one of 6 actors working around the world in the Western world is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, right.
And I think what we were all very good at was just keeping the gratitude. And there were moments where we were kind of tested a little bit, as you always are. And we all kind of got through it. I thought that was really remarkable.
Took care of each other.
Yeah.
Well, and this is it for me. Logi's gone again. This is it for me as well. Like every project, everything presents challenges in some way. But the thing that really filled my heart was that how the level of respect that we all had for each other, both on stage and off. So there was points on stage where we did only have a week to rehearse this, and there was times where suddenly you'd completely dry up. You'd be like, "Shit, what am I doing?" And there's always someone there to save you and pull you back and get through it. And then equally backstage, if there was a challenge that happened backstage, we'd all still be there to support each other. And as performers, you put in so much energy and physical exertion and emotional exertion into what you're doing. And some days are rubbish and some days are great. And I felt so supported and respected throughout. And I hope everyone else did as well, because it felt like the most respectful group of people that I've ever worked with. It was lovely.
So Rebecca Cran, I hope I said that name right, says the concert version was brilliant. The rain falling off the canopy on the line about being lost at sea was some perfect comedy timing. That's amazing. And they got to see a version of the show that nobody else got to see.
One night only.
It was a one night only thing.
They got to see me go down like a sack of spuds as well. So, not everybody gets that.
I don't money to watch that again.
Alex is going to come back soon, and we can ask him all the questions. But okay, so one of the characteristics of the show is that we get to interact with all the elements or the audience or whatever's being thrown at us randomly, and we need to improvise and think on our toes. What are your favorite one-liners or unscripted lines that were that were dropped as an improv that stuck with you?
Mine was
sorry.
Go ahead.
Mine was Mark saying, in the call the witness scene, when he came out the final one and said, "Hello, my name is another doctor." That got me every time.
Yeah, mine was when I was a Scottish lady. I used to start going, "Chitty bye."
Yes.
All the audience went, "Chitty bye."
It became a panto. It was so
like a panto, wasn't it?
funny.
Yeah, bizarre.
Was that a catchphrase that you've heard somewhere, or was that just yours?
No, my nan used to say it, so it's not really a catchphrase. It's a grand phrase. Yeah.
Chitty pie.
You said it once, and the audience just thought it was the best thing they'd ever heard, and
Yeah.
just started joining in.
Weird.
Yeah.
It was
Because they were so close.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so close, so you couldn't really hide anything. It was great. Yeah.
That's one of the scenes that Alex corpsed as well.
Yeah, he corpsed a lot.
Jed, Kane.
Cherry Pie is my all-time favorite. But then I think we had an audience member whose phone was going off. This poor man, bless his soul. And it was like text messages, and so we'd heard it a few times. A bit annoying, but okay, carry on. It doesn't matter. There's sirens and helicopters and whatever going on outside anyway. And so then his phone rang, and he was on the front row, and instead of just turning it off, this poor bless him went, "Oh, sorry," stood up and kind of like ran across the front of the stage and went to take his call.
He took his call, yeah.
And it was at a really serious moment in the show as well, a very sincere moment. And we thought, well, at least he's out of the way. We carried on the scene, and then he came back in. And came back across the front of the stage and sat back down. So it was quite disruptive to the audience, and it was quite disruptive to the scene. And then we approached this moment where I'm saying to Kane, "Oh, you won't leave me, will you?" And Kane always had some kind of brilliant ad lib about, or like,
have a drink at the bar.
Yeah. And Kane decided to go, "Oh, I've got a phone call today." And stared at this man in the front row, and the entire audience erupted, and this poor man was like, "I'm sorry."
There's no escape from me, dear. There's no escape.
That was brilliant.
It was
Kane.
That was as close as I could get to Patti LuPone stopping the show.
Yes.
That was as close as I could get.
Yeah. What's your? You must have a favorite one.
It was in such good humour as well that the man wasn't insulted. The audience thought it was hilarious, and it was just a way of diffusing what had been a slightly awkward moment, and it was just hilarious.
He was a good sport with it as well. Like he took it.
Oh, he was great. He was great.
Yeah. What's your favorite moment, Kane?
Oh goodness. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I peaked quite soon with the ambulance going past, and as Jed has mentioned earlier. But what I also loved is I love the things on stage that the audience don't necessarily know about. And yes, Jed will tell you one of my favorite things. If anyone makes some sort of like line mishap or trips over a word, I love to look at them and go,
just looking expectantly.
Like, oh, is that what the line is? Or if you can't get a line out, which I had a spectacular one of those, if you can't get the line out, I just like to put your teeth in. And I love those things that just happen between the company that sometimes, especially in a space that small, sometimes the audience see and sometimes they don't. But it's just brilliant. And we had so much fun because as you were saying, like we all got on and get on so well. And in that kind of environment at this time in the world, it's so important, so important. I have left that coffee shop because it's far too busy. So if I'm walking around, I'm finding a quieter spot so that I can talk to you all.
Can you see the sea?
So
near the sea?
I will go and sit by the seaside. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'll show you the sea in a minute.
By the sea, Mr. Todd. You're going to say something, Kurt.
Oh no, I was just saying, don't get wet, Kane.
Don't get wet. He likes getting wet. Our Fanny likes getting wet. Oh, I said it there. We lost some followers on YouTube. There we go. All right. Let's get to a little bit more of the heart side of things. What were some of because the reception of Fanny and Stella was immense.
Yeah.
I personally, in my very short career in the UK, because I've been touring with all of these big shows, it's the first time I got to do this, but I did not expect the reaction of the audience and the critics and just people. It did help that we were the only show to be seen in London, but then just the reaction of people and just how it told me how people in London or in the UK were really just hungry for live theater and just the love and the respect they had for the craft that we do. What were some of the best comments that you got in public or in private about Fanny and Stella and what we were doing?
For me, some people were crying when they came to see the show. They were so glad they were seeing live theatre again. And the ladies were doing this, and they're glad to be outside seeing something, funny and musical. And that was, you didn't, even with their masks on, you could see they were happy. Yeah. So that was
I think you raised a really good point, Mark, that actually, I think we were all a little thrown when suddenly you have an audience of people wearing masks, because you don't, it adds an extra barrier between you and the audience and their response. And I think it speaks volumes that besides that, we still gained such a fantastic response from everyone that was watching it. I think you're absolutely right. And I think, like you say, people were so hungry for theatre. And, I don't think anyone would argue that Fanny and Stella was Shakespeare or, it wasn't here to change lives. It's here to tell a really lovely part of LGBT history and also just to be great fun. And I think that's exactly what people needed. And I think people saw it for exactly what it was, which was escapism. It was fun. And it was about getting live theatre going again. In an appropriate setting as well. We were in a tiny pub garden, and this was, about a sort of travelling small little working men's club show kind of feel to it. And so I think that actually people they wanted to and were right on board with us.
Yeah. Fanny's on the beach.
Oh, he's by the ocean.
Jealous.
Oh, you're muted, Kane. Can't hear you.
There we go. I pressed the wrong button and the settings came up. I can't do all this tech.
Angela.
But, oh, darling. Well, the reactions, as you've all said, were absolutely fantastic. And as all of you have said, I had people coming up and saying it's just so nice to be out. It's so nice to be doing something, seeing theatre. And we were lucky it was such an uplifting comedy piece. And I think that's what we all needed. We felt it on stage, and the audience felt it, and everyone was just having an absolutely marvelous time.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. I'm not grateful for the wind blowing my hair around like this, but But honestly, it was work it, babes, work it. Honestly, I'm so grateful that the audiences loved it as much as they did, and we had such a great response. And we were the first, So there we go.
Yeah. I've got a couple of Muggle friends who like my really, really close mates who don't work in the theatre. They've got nothing to do with it, but they're very supportive. They come and see everything that I'm in. And they even came to Australia to see me play Shay in Ibiza at the Sydney Opera House. And they said, I've been friends with them for 15 years, and they said that it was the best thing that they've seen me do.
Wow.
They had such a good time because it was just, because they hadn't been to the theatre in a long time because of closures, but also because it was just, it was entertaining. And like Jed said, it was like a really great piece of history, LGBT history, and something that we don't know enough about. But was incredibly entertaining, funny, and they just had a really good time. And they've seen me like Miss Saigon in the West End and The Lion King and big shows. So to be in something that had no flying helicopters and and drops that go out of the ground and and all the frills that come with big commercial shows just to do something that's a simple story, that's beautifully acted,
loads of heart,
loads of heart. They enjoyed that more. They enjoyed that much more than anything that's like, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands, budgets of thousands and thousands of pounds.
Yeah, there was no pretense there, was there?
Yeah.
It was just what it was, and I think people took it on face value and enjoyed it.
Well, we still have Alex before he gets cut off.
Hey, Logie!
If at all. Logie, tell us what your most memorable bits were from the show, and what were some of the best reactions that you received about the show?
Splitting my trousers, that was fun.
Oh, yeah.
I have a video of that.
Something like, for me, it was being a part of something where the writers come to the kind of first and last run through we did in the studio, and then just suddenly decided to put a nice new little song in for your character.
Yeah. Of course.
And I was like, great, this is really strange to be like, this is the first actor that's ever sung this little song. Yeah. And no one else will care, but it's just nice in your own heart to kind of go, oh, I did that once. But I think as a whole, it was a show that brought so much joy to, well, us doing it, we just had a laugh, but the people that saw it just left feeling slightly more buoyant in a very heavy world, and no amount of money can buy that.
Yeah.
And it was 6 people in a beer garden in Vauxhall, like kind of Kurt just said, not your big flashy shows where you've got a lot of money to hide behind, you've got big sets to hide behind, you've got a great sound design. It's 6 actors and a piano with an MD in a beer garden telling a story. There's nowhere to hide with that. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys all felt it. That you are completely exposed to the elements, but as an actor, all you've got is yourself and the other people you're on stage with, and so much trust in the other people that you're on stage with is a really rare thing, I think. In little bits of it, to know that the other side got your back, and to know that and to feel it every single time you're in a scene, that's rare. That's really rare.
And I think that's a wonderful thing. I love that kind of close theatre where you're a little bit exposed. You know, you can do stuff that the audience will see. That in, you know, the 3,000-seater Edinburgh Playhouse, they're not going to see that little eyebrow movement and the cheeky wink. You know, and I love that, being able to connect with an audience and eyeball them when you're doing this kind of comedy. Is sort of priceless. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it for £1,000 a week, but it's still priceless, you know.
Next year. None of us would.
No.
But you know what? I did realize that it really takes not only an extremely skilled and mature actor to do what we did, but also takes a generous human being and a generous soul to do what we did. Like, I mean, if people saw how we were socially distant in our dressing rooms, and it's not glamorous at all, but it's just nice to see how everybody was just doing what we needed to do to tell this story across. And I love that. It was a sense of gratefulness and just a sense of honor to be called an actor during this time. And it was such a nice experience. What were the challenges that you guys felt that we needed to put in place, or we needed to experience staging this socially distant musical? For those that, you know, probably have no idea, they keep on asking us, I get a lot of that question, how do you guys do it? How did you guys do it during COVID? What were the challenges? Physical and, you know, just maybe, you know.
There was numerous challenges. You know, not only were we battling with staying socially distanced, we were also opening a new show in a venue that had never been a theatre space before, and so that presented loads of challenges. But the thing that I really, really admired, particularly, was the work that Stephen Dexter and Nick Winston did in creating a show that actually, up until this point, in every iteration before this, contained loads of physical contacts, contained loads of non-social distancing, and both Nick and Stephen really successfully achieved a production where you didn't miss the lack of physical contact. And so many people came out of that show saying, "Oh God, you guys didn't touch. I didn't
didn't realize it. Yeah,
and so it didn't feel like we were compensating. It felt like we were just honouring the text in the show and the music and the staging in a way, yes, that was safe, but then was also just as successful in its own right. And that is really completely down to Dex and Nick for their amazing work and just resourcefulness. Yeah, I think they did a really, really impressive job. Oh, we've lost Lodgy.
we lost Logic.
I think part of the challenges was actually the challenges was like just because everything was new. Everything we didn't have any benchmarks to work from. You know, every day there was something different. Like it might have been the rain, or and the stage being slippery, or then you know, like Jed said, like working in a new space with people that don't really understand how theatres work. Yeah, I think just coming across challenges for the first time and having to deal with them together, which again is a testament to a good bunch of people who were just willing to put our ego and just put the work in.
Right.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, Kurt, as well, that every single person involved, be that the cast, be that the creators, be that the staff in the venue, everyone just wanted the show to be as good and as successful as it could be. And that was basically the foundation for any decision that was made, for anything that was implemented, anything. It was all solely in aid of trying to make the production as great as it could be. And everyone had their own intentions within that, but that was clearly the overall objective for everyone. And
it wasn't
rare, you know,
it wasn't a smooth ride. It wasn't the smoothest ride.
No, but
I mean, lots of bumps and lots of learning on the way.
Of course, and you know, ultimately, and especially in retrospect, it's very easy to now sit back and go, "God, everyone just wanted this to be great."
Yeah.
And that's rare.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, so many shows, you know, have people where it's very political, and there's people that are just there for the money or there for the career progression or whatever, and they're all valid. But it's really lovely when actually you just get people who just give a shit.
Yeah.
We had to work really hard to, you know, make sure that the show got to the place that it was, you know. And when I say we, I'm agreeing with Jed here, you know, us as a company, the pub, the bar, the creatives, you know, there was a lot of work that everyone had to take on that doesn't, I guess, usually happen, because you've got a team of 60 people doing all of these different things, and now we have all this COVID security on top of it as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot that we all had to do, but once again, it pulled us all together. You know, it was that kind of wartime spirit of let's all pull together and get through this. It's just that the war this time, that's it, Jed. Yes, the war this time is a war on COVID. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And is there anything that this production gave you that you'll take away from your future work or shows?
Crabs. Yeah, I've got crabs on this show. Yeah.
Even at a 2 meter distance, that's really saying something.
Well, no, it would have been that washing bag. The washing wasn't obviously done hot enough.
You didn't get COVID, but you got crabs.
Got crabs, yeah.
What will I take? I think for me, and I'm sure you guys will all agree, you know, we've all done quite commercial musical theatre shows before, which are amazing, and they are masterpieces in their own right. But what those shows don't present is often they don't present an opportunity for an actor to use their own intuition, because these are, by and large, big products of shows that have millions and millions and millions of pounds behind them, that, you know, are in Hi, Logie.
That's better. Sorry, you're all on my laptop now. I've pulled over in a service station. We managed it.
Way.
There you go.
Nice.
Woo.
Yeah,
Great.
these big commercial shows, they have millions of pounds behind them, they have massive teams behind them, and they are a product that has to work 8 times a week in multiple productions, no matter where they are in the world at any time.
Yeah.
And that's how that works, and that brings with it a lot of its own merit. But what it often doesn't bring is an opportunity just to figure it out for yourself as an actor. You know, we all trained as performers, and sometimes that doesn't go to waste, but sometimes that isn't utilized to its maximum in commercial musical theatre. And it was really refreshing for me to just be able to like read a script and make some decisions, and some of them were bum decisions, and that becomes clear through what you do with your actors, and also because we have a director like Stephen who has a really great overview of the entire thing and the tone and the pace of the piece. But it's an opportunity just to play around and explore a character and try things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to try in other settings.
I did like coming out of our little menage a trois scene, our big emotional scene, the three of us, Alex and Jed, and feeling that we tried something different, albeit a little bit, new, and it always felt nice. And we, Alex and I would sometimes clock and say, yeah, that scene felt different and nice today. Yeah, it really felt nice today. So it was nice. It was nice to just follow the intuition and try something new. I think just being on your toes and just being constantly creative is something I'll be taking away, definitely.
I mean, it's really credit to the cast of actors as well, because it's all well and good saying, oh, well, I like experimenting and trying new things. But actually, if you've got no one to bounce off and to trust in a scene, then it's worthless. So actually, I guess it's more about being grateful for having such talented people around me as well.
And generous.
Not Mark though. Mark was terrible, but other than that.
But generous too, because you could come up with an idea of something and nobody would shut you down. I've worked on shows before where other actors have let their egos kind of block you from kind of really experimenting and playing, like you said, Jed. One of the things I'll take away from it is, and it's the continuation of what Jed said, really, is a bit of humility, because we are so spoiled in shows. We have a dresser. I mean, I've always been one, like in a big show. At the end of my show, I'll put my clothing in the washing basket and I'll hang up my costume. I've always been that. I've never been one to go drop the things and the dresser can pick that up. I've never been that person. But I think more so because of this production, because we had to pick up the pieces so much, was a reminder of that bit of humility, and it's not being eggy and about being overly grateful, because you know what, we all six of us have earned our stripes, and we deserve to be up there on stage and performing. But I think just taking away a bit of that veneer of having to be somebody, and the fact that we were 6 guys put on a show, and the teamwork that comes back to that. So that's where my idea of humility comes into that.
Yep. Mark, Logie, Kane.
That's Logie.
What's your takeaway?
I think that the biggest thing that I've actually taken away from it all is I've got 5 lovely pals out of it. Like me and Kane went to college together, but we've never worked together since then. Jed's all right, knew him a bit. But no, it was so nice to feel a sense of camaraderie and togetherness that I've never felt on a show. Because you get it, like you have always in a company, you have the people that become your mates, people that become your friends, and some of them stay with you after that job finishes. But this group for me, it was such a nice time, and really to just take away 5 great new friends out of it that will remain a part of my life after we finished the final show. Which again, I think there's so, like I kind of said earlier before, I was rudely cut off by EE. There's so many things about this project that I think were just rare and that don't happen every day. And that for me was a real big, a big eye opener, I think, of enjoying working with the people you're working with because you value them as people as well as just talents and colleagues. That doesn't happen for me a lot. So on this, it was really special.
Beautiful.
Very. I agree. I was just going to say I agree. I've learned so much from all of you, you know, in different respects, and every day's a school day. And to work with, you know, other people, cast creatives, you know, that you respect so much is wonderful. And I think also one of the biggest things, if I'm talking on a personal level, that I'm really thankful for is the makeup skills that I will take away from this.
Yes.
And as I say in every post that I post, I have so far to go on this makeup journey. So far. But I've loved every second of it. And I will look back in 5 years' time and I will go, gosh, that makeup was heavy. But
the eyes were great.
But well, you know, it was a journey, and it started off as one thing and went to another and then to another. And I have so much to thank Jed for that. And I really do believe that you are the most wonderful sister I could have hoped for.
Aww.
And so I can't wait to continue that makeup journey, and just the amount that I have learned from all of you in different respects. You're all such class acts, and I love that. And your comedy skills, your acting skills, performing skills, baking skills,
the cinnamon
all
bun.
of that. The cinnamon buns. Oh, ladies and gentlemen who are watching this, Joaquin has the most gorgeous sticky buns. They are delicious, and you should give them a try if you can.
If you are lucky enough to be in the same production that I am in, you will taste my buns. I guarantee.
Yes.
How about you, Mark?
Me? I was just there for the money, really.
What money?
He was the highest paid one.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
After you got that nomination, they upped the pay.
That's it.
No, it's just a lovely time. It's a pleasure to work in such a weird year with lovely lads. You know, lovely front of house team and Richard and Dex and Nick, and I just had a great time.
Aaron.
Aaron was great.
Well, yeah.
We had a great. It's a privilege. It was a privilege. That's all I can say. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about
to Bernard Castle.
Rebecca again. I think we have a fan here. She says she used to live up near Wick.
Rebecca.
My grandparents lived in Fife, and I wasn't expecting to hear both of those places mentioned in the show. It made me quite emotional, actually.
Oh.
Lots of people got emotional in our show. I did when I first read through the script with you guys, and then I heard that beautiful ending. And I think, yes, it was about Fanny and Stella, but it was also nice because it was like the voice of our industry trying to say, let's move on. You know, and now it's like there's so many questions still up in the air. We don't know when we're going to go back to normal, if there's going to be a new normal. We don't know when the West End will open again. We don't know. We just don't know. And after being called unviable or unskilled, it's just hard for me to believe that because I've worked with you guys. You know what I mean? And what are your thoughts?
What Jed does skill exactly?
What are your thoughts?
I love you.
Moving forward on just with this whole pandemic still inching away at our industry.
I think that on the whole unskilled thing, it's better for us to not rise to it because it's purposely being done. It was tactics used even in most dictatorship to demonize the arts and demonize those who work in those sectors. And if people want to view what we do as a glorified hobby, nothing I say or do is going to change that point of view.
It's true.
So I'm not even going to give them my time and energy and engage with it. On the thing of it being careers in the arts being deemed unviable, I just disagree. I don't. If you saw a tweet I put out the other day of I'm really struggling to grasp how a job that's required me to pay 40k in income tax and 17k in VAT in the last 5 years is deemed to be unviable. But even with that, just keep going.
Yeah.
Because at some point, it will be fine. It's going to be shit for a while, and we know that now. It's initially, I think we all kind of went into it thinking, it'll be a couple of weeks, it'll be 3 months. By September we'll start to, look back to things. Okay, maybe December. We're back by December, and now we're kind of maybe looking March, April of next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if that can is kicked even further down that road next year.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to this project, one of the nicest things about it was we're constantly being told what we can't do, that we're useless, that we're unskilled, that we're unviable. You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. All of a sudden, surround yourself with people that say, well, what can we do? Right. What can we create? And so I'm back up. I've had to move out of London for financial reasons because HMRC took all the money. And I'm trying to find somewhere to put on some social distance concerts in local cities around up here. To go, people are crying out for live entertainment in some capacity, and we can have socially distanced audiences and we can have socially distant companies. Okay, so let's put something on where everyone can be socially distanced. Give me a venue, we'll create a show.
I love that.
It's kind of this project has springboarded me and the producer I'm working with who came down to see it to kind of go, yeah, great, let's do something. Through great adversity often comes great art. And for example, with the whole pantomime season having to be cancelled, producers are finding other ways to create stuff, not traditional theatre, but just stuff. Some of it will be shit. Some of it will be great. But I think it brings us back to just keep going, just keep creating, and who knows where it's going to lead. Literally, like the last time on the show, like we just said, to prove on from the previous point, let's go onward. Right. Because the industry, as we all knew and loved it to be, said ironically, is gone. And it ain't coming back. In the way it was, it just ain't coming back that way. When it comes back, it will be fundamentally different because it will have to be. So we can resist that, we can resent that, or we can embrace it. And I think this project changed my mindset, and all of those things is to embrace every stage of this. We're going to face these walls that tell us we can't do it, or we're going to have to climb over hurdles to do something. But just because it's hard doesn't mean it shouldn't be done.
Right. I like that.
I think you're absolutely bang on the money with the whole just like figuring it out thing, Alex. I mean, on a personal, as you guys know, I'm not the kind of person that really cares what people say about me. In case you haven't realised.
And that's why we love you.
That's my takeaway from Jed. I'm going to learn to do that.
I just don't really care what Rishi Sunak says about me, to be honest. I don't care. And also, if only that were the worst thing that the government have said about, ever. Like, if only. Like, I'll take that you think I'm unviable. There's worse things you've said. But it's actually about, okay, well, cool. If you think that cool, let's do something positive about it. Let's make some positive action, which is why Fanny and Stella was just so brilliant. It was like, well, bugger what the government are saying about theatre will not happen. No, we'll find a way. And, and Dex said at one point, we're all rebels and we're doing it safely. But we're doing something that's unorthodox right now and good. And this is why I applaud Logie for setting up socially distanced concerts. It's why I applaud Kurt for continuing to write and workshop during this time. and Mark for doing his voiceovers, and Kane for being Kane. But
I was wondering what you were going to come up with.
I jest. But I fully salute anyone who does anything in terms of positive action at a time when some wanker in Parliament's calling us unviable. Fine, call us that, because the art's the most resourceful industry in the world, I do believe. And joke's on you, because you're going home and watching Netflix anyway. So
exactly,
it's unviable. See you on Netflix, dear.
Yeah, I think that's what's nice. I mean, go ahead, Kurt. Go ahead.
Well, that I was just going to say, that's my thought on it is, our industry is always taking shit for that. Like, since I decided I wanted to be a performer, the amount of people that have said to me, "Oh, well, that's not a real job. Go get a real job." What is a real job anyway? How do you define that? But my takeaway, we're always gonna come up against that, and the fact is, the stayers, the ones who work through it and who don't care, the ones who don't care what people think, or the ones who kind of move forward and move onward, are the ones who are going to be making the direct change. All of those people that say that we're unviable and that it's not a real job, they should turn off. They should throw away their televisions. They should stop listening to music. They shouldn't go to fine arts or go to any museums. They should stop cooking and just make or go into restaurants. All of those things are the arts, and all of them are viable. And we are. My thought on it is that after all of this is finished, there is going to be a new normal, but we are the ones who are going to be the saviors, because we are the storytellers and we are the creators, and that's what the world is going to need to heal. And it's not just post COVID, post God forbid, post Donald Trump and the Tories. It's post all of that. We're going to be the saviors, because people are going to want people will want to be entertained, and they'll want their stories to be told.
Absolutely, and I agree with Alex in terms of we can't rise to what they're saying. I think it was Alex that said that. Because for me, this unviable, low-skilled situation is just laughable. It's not. For me, it's not really a thing. They say it, and it just shows that they don't know what they're talking about. I'd like to see Boris Johnson do a maxi four turning.
I want to see that.
He can do it facing the front. You just can't do it turning.
Do you know what I mean? Like, let's see a shuffle pickup changes from the corner, Rishi. Like, no. For me, it's just, and unfortunately, like, it's one of those things that people like to think, oh, I could do that if I wanted to, and then they realise that when they try, they go, oh goodness, actually, I can't belt a top C or whatever, and it's the very skilled people that can do that. I can't do that, so that is a skill that I appreciate, and I just think it's laughable, and it just makes me go, you don't know what you're talking about, babes. You've never been in a show. You run the country. Get someone in the arts sector to run the culture department.
Also, this is the party that when they're building a new immigration point system, say that if you have a job that earns less than £25,000 a year, you're not skilled enough to come in. So instantly they wipe out nurses. Instantly they wipe out. I saw a whole list of like things that are fundamentally crucial jobs that, because they earn less than 25,000 a year, which the government set the salaries of all these public workforces, they say are unskilled. So we're in very good company if we're being unskilled with all the other people that also make the country run.
Amen.
It's quite interesting, because my missus and I have chosen a very unique time in history to move our lives to the UK an artist, and I don't know, for some reason, as scared as we both are, we're also quite hopeful, and we're also quite positive in our outlook. We don't know how. We don't know how the specifics are going to be. But then we look at something like Fanny and Stella, where we had no idea how it was going to happen, and we made it happen. And I think that's what's exciting about being an artist, like what Kurt said, and I think Jed. And you just limit us, and you take away all of the things that we can play with, and we're going to find something to create art with. I mean, wasn't it Matisse, the painter, who lost all of his mobility and couldn't paint anymore, and he started cutting up pieces of paper. He started cutting up people, started making collages, and that's how he painted, because he couldn't paint anymore. And that's an artist. So isn't that amazing?
Every single artistic success story has had to deal with naysaying. We're always gonna be challenged with that. We're always gonna be told, "Oh, you're not good enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough." Which is why the logic philosophy, I'm not going to listen to them. I'm not even going to give it any airtime. Is really, I think that's a really great way to look at it.
Yeah, just good vibes only.
Just good vibes. Just good vibes. And
like Jed said, I don't care what they say. You know, the fact is, you're always going to be told. I had my old agent said to me, "You can't write musicals. You didn't study Cambridge and didn't do this, you know." And I was like, a year later, I was like, "Oh, I've written 2 musicals."
There you go. Mic drop.
We are, as artists, I'm always going to come across people that are just going to be putting us down in some way, for whatever reason. And I think
we're going to rise above it.
I think it's our responsibility just to kind of not take it on in whatever way, that.
And rise like a phoenix, like Angela Lansbury, right, Kane?
Yes.
Like Angela.
Oh, she always does. And Conchita Verse, she rises like a phoenix.
All right, I'm so glad. I mean, we're running out of time, but I'm just so glad that I had to see you guys. I mean, I got to see you guys again and talk to you guys and hear your voices and see your beautiful faces. Just a last word from each one of you. How do you guys stay hopeful, and what are you looking forward to after all of this is over? How do you guys stay positive and hopeful? I think people are looking to us to stay positive and to laugh and to smile. So any advice on what keeps you guys positive and hopeful and so fresh and so beautiful all the time?
Hang out with
moisturizer. I was going to say, choose to see the silver linings, the sunshine, and the comedy in life. And I know that sounds a little, superficial, of like, oh, just, look for the silver linings. But honestly, try and find those moments that you can see the funny side. Like I say about this unviable thing, they don't have a clue. Find the comedy and allow yourself to laugh in a time when it seems like there's so much darkness, but there's also so much light to be found.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Laugh. Live, laugh, love.
Mark, Mark was going to say, sorry.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to create, whether you're painting or playing guitar or, singing in the shower. You don't have to just be on a stage to create every day. And just you have another day on planet Earth, just enjoy it. Some people don't have that time, so whatever you're doing, just try and enjoy life. And you might be lucky enough to get back on a stage and sing and dance again. Who knows? But we're very fortunate, really. Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to create a Twitter account?
No.
Okay. Good. Just making sure.
Wise, very wise.
Just making sure.
I think look, we've been like 7 months in lockdown, 6-7 months in lockdown. Look what the arts has done in 6 and 7 months. Like, if it's another 6-7 months, don't worry about it. Like, we got people's backs. We're fine. We'll make it happen. As I said earlier, it's the most resourceful industry in the world. Like, we'll figure it.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna figure it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine is like a combo of Kane's and Mark's, and I think it's really important as we all have creativity in us. Every single person, even even a theatre mumble who doesn't do, or someone that doesn't work in the theatre. But I think every day I try and do something creative, if it's cooking a meal, or and draw like Mark said, painting or drawing a picture, gardening, something that just kind of something that keeps your mind active.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, while doing that, you're looking for your silver linings. You're thinking positive. You're looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, finding the goodness in it all, and use it to your advantage. That's exactly what I tried to do. And it was tough during the lockdown. Was I kind of honed in on my writing, and on days that I didn't feel like writing, I baked a cake or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Logie?
Hang out with Kane.
Yeah, the best. Oh my God.
Oh, we'll do coffee.
or just go to Kane's Instagram account and he'll give you a compliment, which really will brighten your day.
Yes, I did compliment Sunday on Sunday. That was so lovely. That was so lovely.
Like a recurring series every week, Kane's compliment.
Yeah, compliment Sunday.
Good, I think.
I'll have to put different spins on it each time. Like maybe next week will be an animal theme. I'll pick one picture with an animal in it on your Instagram and I'll give the animal a compliment or something.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that can eventually be a YouTube channel, Kane. You need one. The world will be lucky to have a YouTube channel by you.
Well, I'll have to call you for some tips of how to work out the technology.
Well, tip number 1, don't join a call when you're driving up the M11.
Yeah.
There's a song with the M11 in it, and I'll have to find it, Alex, but I'm sure it's a Victoria Wood. It's something on the M11. I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
Look, boys, it was so lovely to see all of you and to hear all of you. Thank you for doing this. I don't know how, but we've got actually a lot of viewers and lots of likes, so I'm pretty pleased with that. But then this is gonna live forever on my YouTube channel.
Learn how to fly.
There you go.
Sorry, we've just had a seagull attack, so that's why I'm like, I don't like seagulls. So I'm like, oh.
Good thing you weren't carrying a burger or something or an ice cream.
I know. I feel like Tippi Hendren in The Birds.
I'm you're gonna do like a news, like you're about to do a weather forecast.
But look, there's the seaside. Look. By the sea, Mr. Todd.
Oh, we should do that. All right. Hang a bit, boys. As I log off. So that's it, guys. I hung out with amazing men, the cast of Fanny and Stella, who always bring joy to me, whether it's on stage or off stage. And I'm so lucky to have worked with them and to call them my friends. Stay happy and stay positive. Always do something creative. Bake some bread. It will bring you so much joy, I promise. Thank you for listening. See you guys in 2 weeks' time. I got a special episode.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.